All right, guys. Y'all know that Moist Critical does watch anime. He has these like moist meters or like ratings that he gives on movies and even animes, right? We watched the Demon Slayer, rating one. I think he has a pretty good, take on, anime in media literacy. He says, "Is this the best anime of the year for Dan of the year?" I don't know. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, I definitely think it's anime of the year. Don to Don is a show
Yeah.
that really came out of nowhere for me. Never even heard a whisper about
Hmm.
this manga before, but then once episode one of
Yeah, honestly, I've never heard of the manga either until they started to really hype up the trailers about a year back.
the anime hit, everyone screaming its name from the rooftops.
Dun dun dun
I
dun
also
dun
thought
dun.
it was Dan to Dan until 3 minutes ago when I decided to look it up because last time I mispronounced something, that's the entire comment section is just how much of a fucking Neanderthal I was for getting the pronunciation of something wrong. So
Yeah, that's anime, anime fans in a nutshell. You pronounce one thing wrong. Sundir. Sundir, bro. No, tsundere. Dan da dan. It's Dan, right? Not Dan. It's like a Dan.
I wasn't making this mistake again, especially not when it came to something as sacred as anime. I probably would have been
Also, how the fuck could you mistake the pronunciation of Dan da dan? Because the opening song that plays immediately when you start watching the anime, what's the first lyrics? Dun 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 dun. It's just saying the name.
thrown to the guillotine and had my soul exterminated like the Emperor did to Horus at the end of the heresy. And I wasn't going to take that chance. So
All right.
I have confirmed that it is Don to Don, and
Don
I'm
Don.
also confirming that it is anime of the year.
What other animes would you guys say is anime of the year? A lot of people were saying Solo Leveling in January, but I think that was just a lot of people, bandwagoning and hyping it up. I don't really think Solo Leveling Season 1 is anime of the year. Dangerous in My Heart Season 2, that's a very niche pick. I think that I can appreciate Dangerous in My Heart and what Season 2 did for that whole, romance story. It was great development. Genuinely one of the best rom-coms I've seen, to the point that I rated like 9 point something out of 10. It's so peak, but is it anime of the year? What is anime of the year? I guess right now I'm trying to set aside like my personal bias and try to understand like what is the most like broad appealing to everybody throughout this year. And other than Frieden, which does Frieden even count for 2024 because of how it was, split core, 2 cores happening in 2023 into 2024. I don't know, but Frieden, if you're able to, allow that into 2024, I'd say it's Frieden. I would also say Dan da Dan. Animes basically that are first season that's broad, wide appealing to people that everyone can enjoy through any type of demographic is what I would consider anime of the year, right? JJK, Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, I don't think that it really hits all of the different audiences because of the nature of the battle shonen plus it being season 2. But you guys are you're saying Bleach is best shonen. These are individual categories of genres for different demographics, right? I would say Frieden and Dandadan are probably one of the most wide appealing broad animes that anyone can watch and enjoy it, and therefore that's why I would say anime of the year. Kaiju 8, I don't really think it's really on that level. ReZero is of course amazing, but it's season 3 content and it's not even finished. I mean, Dandadan, it's also split core right now. Dandadan hasn't even finished, right? We got left off on a very awkward hanging point due to the storytelling, and now we're all kind of waiting in anticipation for July. But Dandadan and Frieden, I would probably place as the contestant for anime of the year right now.
When this show dropped, my whole chat was telling me about it, saying I need to watch it, and then every single week from that point forward, they'd always ask me if I'd watched the new episode, and if I had, what did I think of it? I haven't seen this level of hype around a new anime since Chainsaw Man. And I think the show
I agree. Well, Frieden too.
lives up to the hype. I wasn't disappointed or let down. Not that I really could have been. I had no expectations because just like the top shelf in my kitchen, I had no fucking idea this existed. So I was just pleasantly surprised at how good it is. And
This is the best way to enjoy something that's peak, right? Rather than having people just drown you by saying, bro, you're not ready, dude, this is the best, this is anime of the year, bro. Rather than that, just going into something blind and just getting hit with peak and you're like, wow, this is amazing. That's how I felt about Dandadan too. A lot of people did glaze it, but I kind of like shut my blinds, I guess, to all the noise being talked about Dandadan online, and I just went in and watched episode 1 and I was like, yeah, this really could be the best.
And on paper, it's not the kind of show I like, because I have been a very outspoken Scrooge when it comes to slice of life. I'm really bored by it.
Is Dandadan slice of life though? Not really. There's a lot of things happening in Dandadan. I don't even know how to describe it. Supernatural, ancient, ghost and supernatural shits and aliens and slice of life, rom-com and comedy, and it's just everything. I think that what Charlie's trying to say about him not enjoying slice of life, but he enjoyed it here, is proof that he is so into Dandadan. Because like, here's how I feel about slice of life moments. A lot of people consider slice of life moments filler. If there's nothing happening and all you're doing is just hanging out with you, just vibing with the characters, and if you're not immersed into that setting, if you don't care about the story, you won't care about the slice of life moments. If you actually care about these slice of life moments, the filler bullshit that people say it is, that means that you really enjoy that setting, that environment, those characters, and the interactions.
I don't like slice of life. I can count on one hand the amount of slice of life anime I've ever even moderately enjoyed. And now I'm gonna have to add a new finger to that hand. Because I do like this one, and it does have slice of life elements.
It does.
But it's not putting all of its eggs into that basket. It has a lot of action, which is animated beautifully. The animation in this show is spectacular.
Shoutouts to Science Sour, bro. That studio killing it with the talent that's working on it.
Also has by far the best opening in recent memory since probably Vinland Saga Season 1.
Maybe a hot take, but is Dandadan opening that peak? Or are people just screaming peak because it's creepy nuts and it's popular to glaze creepy nuts? I don't know. I feel like MASH Season 2 opening with creepy nuts, that shit was peak to me. The Dandadan opening, it's not that peak. In fact, you're gonna call me crazy, and I don't really care about the visuals for opening. I genuinely don't give a fuck about visuals for openings, man. I care about the beat, the instrumentals. The lyrics doesn't really matter to me that much either, because obviously I don't fucking know what Japanese is saying. So I care more about like the instrumental, the song, the beat around it. And I feel like Blue Box, you're gonna say Blue Box opening? The visual for that was stunning, but the Blue Box opening, it felt better in my ears than Dandadan. Sorry, man. Like that's how I really feel. Even like you're gonna think I'm fucking crazy for this one too. Loner Life Isekai? Hitoribochi? You remember that one? Loner Life? Good Luck Lies in Odd Numbers? Yo, that beat is sick. That beat is fucking sick, man.
So yeah, the action is really good. It's beautiful, it's fluid, it's fast, it's chaotic. I was really surprised with how high quality the animation was for this show. Basic concept of this show is that it revolves around aliens and ghosts. Two things I fucking love. I'm obsessed with aliens, and every new alien update that hits the planet.
It is cool how they combine both aliens and ghosts, because like sometimes shows only have aliens or only ghosts, but this is both.
Me and my dad talk about it and argue about it daily, and I fucking love ghosts. I hunt those bitches. I've gone on 4 different ghost missions to try and prove their existence, even though I myself don't believe in them even a little bit.
You hunting for something that you don't even believe in?
Just for the sake of seeing if maybe I'm wrong and ghosts are real. Okay. So I love aliens and ghosts, and they combine both of these into a really beautiful stew.
They did.
And our main characters are discovering they have powers. One gets psychic powers.
Yeah,
the other
Momo
gets a spirit possession power.
Yeah, we got a granny power.
Where Okarun, that's his name, gets possessed by a spirit called...
Actually, Moist Critical, it's pronounced Okarun, not Okarun. Typical white people can't pronounce the R's in Jap. Some people actually say that, bro. Like, how do you pronounce Naruto? See how I pronounce Naruto? It's a very soft R, but the Japanese way of saying it is Naruto. 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 I don't think it really matters. I think it's so cringe if you're nitpicking at this level of pronunciation. Also, yeah, his name is technically Ken, but Momo doesn't want to hear that shit, so he's Okarun to us.
Turbo Granny, who bites his wiener, steals his cock, and then it ends up, through a large series of events, granting him the ability to call upon her really impressive power.
Yep.
So the action's really cool. Like, these elements themselves aren't anything super new, except for, of course, the possession via cock. I haven't seen that before, but maybe I just haven't watched it.
Possession via cock is crazy.
Enough anime. But everything that it has, aliens, ghosts, psychic powers, that's nothing new. But what the show does is it combines all of these elements so well.
Exactly. Right? Like action, we've seen hype action. Supernatural shit, ghost hunting, we've seen individual elements. And the really impressive thing about Dandadan is that when you try to incorporate so many different topics and concepts, often you fall apart because you can't even do one correctly. But somehow in Dandadan, they take so much and are able to combine it in such a harmonious way. It's so synchronous. It's crazy. It's again, usually people just focus on one specific thing, right? And try to really highlight that one thing that they're really good at. Somehow, some way, Dandadan brought in so many different things to make this shit so good. And what's crazy, and I'm sure he'll talk about it, is this whole comedic aspect that you're set up with, the whole cock and ball joke, haha, weenies, bananas, give me your balls, ha ha ha, yeah. And you have some raunchy humor and it's just a lot of hype, upbeat fun. And then episode 7 hits where you're hit in the back of the head with such an emotional episode. And because of what Dandadan is before leading up to this and how you're kind of primed to just turn your brain off and just enjoy the nonsensical chaos, such a dramatic storytelling through the backstory of Acro Silky's past, it just hits so much harder. When things are not always serious, then you have a serious time. The contrast of what it should be and what it is, that's why it hits way harder. The tone shift, right, exactly. The tone shift is so good.
Like, it is wacky, it's self-aware, and it is first and foremost just fun. It's also really good at delivering emotional beats when appropriate. There's an episode in here that I don't want to spoil that is probably
episode 7.
One of the more emotional episodes of anime I've seen all.
And the beautiful thing about episode 7, you don't even have to show people the previous episodes leading up to it. That kind of episode is a self-contained story where anybody can watch that episode, not even knowing what the show is, and be impacted on such a deep level.
And it's just one episode, and it was able to convey so much.
Yep.
They do such a...
Best episode of the year is, I would agree with that. Maybe, I think there's a huge bias of like, what is best episode of the year? And I think that if an anime episode is able to just like feel such cathartic emotions and make you cry, I guess like it means it's done its job, right? And of all the episodes that I've seen this year, there's not a single episode where I've just like, well, ReZero Season 1 Episode 7, but that's different because that's like an old show that we're catching up on. Of the brand new shows in this year, no other episode has hit me that hard. Demon Slayer finale? Demon Slayer finale was really good. I'll give you that. Hashira training arc, the finale episode, was so fucking good that I forgot about the stupid moments of fucking Tanjiro and Muichiro throwing 20 airplanes, counting it down because they're trying to pad animation time. Watch time, sorry. But yeah, the finale was that fucking good. It was that good. It really was. Oh, fuck. Oh, man. Now I'm thinking about that. There's a lot of it. Yeah, but I think that it definitely gets up there, right? I put Hashira training arc up there at finale for like best episode of 2024. I put, Dandadan episode 7 up there. Best of all time. Sorry, best of 2024. I think that the ReZero, definitely had its moments too with Capella's priority episodes with, the, what's it called? The super speech as well. Orb episode 3 with the plot twist. It was shocking. It was shocking, but I don't know if it can really compete with like, Dandadan episode 7 and the shock that the emotional engagement I felt. I can't really name other animes in the top of my head right now. Oh, One Piece, I haven't seen it, but the amount of times that people glaze the what was that? What was fan letter? Fan letter episode, right? The one where it's Marineford, but you're seeing it from a different perspective of people. I heard that episode was fucking nuts.
A great job of balancing the comedy, which there's a lot of comedy in it, the action, there's a lot of action in it, as well as these few emotional moments, as well as making you, the viewer, probably relate to some of the situations when it comes to the romance and like the awkwardness of romance and shit.
Great chemistry between Okarun and Momo. The banter that they have, the dynamics that they have, the awkward feelings of Okarun thinking he's cucked. Can he do better? Is some other boy, hitting on Momo, or Momo also thinking the same of like, is this dude cheating on me? Is he with another girl? And, accidental kiss happening. Their whole dynamic, it's just so relatable and so good.
So I just think they just nail all of it, to be honest.
Igris versus Sungjin Mu for action episode of the year, I don't think comes even close to Jujutsu Kaisen Mahoraga versus Sukuna. And I don't think I'm wrong. A1 Pictures did a great job for Sungjin Mu versus Igris, but I don't think this is the pinnacle of action sequences in 2024 anime. I think Sukuna versus Mahoraga is on a different caliber, and I don't think I'm even. This is just an objective fact. The level of talent that Mappa, had as freelance workers working on that project versus A1 Pictures. A1 Pictures was great. It was phenomenal, like S tier. Mappa is just on that god tier, different category.
I don't have a single complaint about the show. And like I said, a lot of what this show offers are things that I really just don't even like in most anime in general, like the comedy bits. I don't really like a lot of anime comedies.
Yeah, and I don't think this is really a hot take. I think that anime comedy is really hit or miss. There's a cultural barrier, I think, surrounding some of the comedy. Sometimes the wordplay is Japanese, but most of the time it's really hit or miss with anime comedy. Even Konosuba, which is the comedy anime, some jokes just doesn't really land on me.
They don't really make me, giggle. I'm not grabbing at my belly like Santa Claus, breaking out into fits of laughter watching the anime character shoot blood out of his nose for the millionth time. Like, I'm usually...
Oh, Sanji getting some stray bullets. Hot girl shows up, Sanji, nosebleed, Merorin spins around. It's just like, is this supposed to be funny?
Not laughing at the comedy gags in most anime. But in here, I actually did have a couple of moments where I was giggling. And it's just well done. Like, it does things different while still exploring similar concepts to other anime. I really am surprised at just how well the show is written. And it's so refreshing just how unserious it is sometimes.
Also, it's interesting how Charlie mentioned Chainsaw Man in the beginning of, really popular best animes of the year, whatever, the feelings that he had. It's because everyone came from the same house that worked on Chainsaw Man, right? Because these are the apprentices that worked on Chainsaw Man together. Dandaran's author, Spy Family author, right? Many different, crazy titles. The authors were all on the same team working on Chainsaw Man in the past. And then, talent breeds talent. It was an elite, group of people, and now they're going off to make their own, elite projects.
Times where you have things like Turbo Granny possessing Okarun, and now all of a sudden he has to go on this noble quest to find his missing testicles, which have turned into golden balls and flew across the world like fucking Dragon Balls. Like, that's so silly. And it's really self-aware in the silliness, but they play it straight. So it, feels really good. Like, it's just entertaining. And it's
the execution of these tropes, right? That's all that matters. You can have corny, raunchy concepts and cliches and whatnot. Some of them just suck, but it's all about the delivery, how they executed those concepts.
Not afraid to be serious. Like I mentioned, they have some really emotional moments that are done very well. And they also do the romance really well. Yeah. They don't tackle romance in this show the same way a lot of other anime do.
Yeah, a lot of other animes. And here's the thing. It's because Dandaran is not trying to be like a snafu, where, the romance in the anime, where motherfuckers literally don't talk to each other. They're so passive aggressive, and stupid pointless dramas happen from the lack of communication and their ability to communicate, which just leads into the most pointless, frustrating plots. But I get it. Some stories are literally built around that. Dandaran is not focused on romance. But because there are, and because of that, they're able to have Momo and Okarin literally talk about their feelings and get their shit cleared up in a matter of an episode. And it's just so refreshing to have, high school kids romance setting in an anime where rather than them being passive aggressive and just having misunderstandings, and that does happen in Dandaran, but not through multiple episodes. That shit gets handled immediately.
So it feels like a show that they just knew what the fuck they were doing. The action is great. The writing is great.
Yeah.
The aliens in particular, when they fight the aliens, are really cool. And they're also super silly. Like, the aliens are doing like crazy dances and shit, and they look super silly. And they keep talking about trying to harvest the humans' banana organs. Once again, talking about penis.
Reproductive.
The show is also first and foremost making dick jokes out the wazoo.
It is.
Hey, they've been studying some of my old transcripts, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, though, I think I've glazed it enough. Point is, I do think Dandadan is the best anime of the year, hands down. So, that's really about it. So, yeah.
And I don't think that's a hot take either. If episode 7 didn't happen, would I still think that Dandadan is the best anime of the year? Probably not, honestly. I think episode 7 and the significance of that, of how much it impacted me has left such a good impression on the anime. Or even like the season finale, and it's not a season finale. The season hasn't even ended yet. We're doing split core, and we ended off in a really awkward spot, which was very frustrating. But episode 7, its presence just impacted me so hard where I just glaze. And yes, I think that the genius of Dandadan goes beyond just episode 7, but how broad and wide appealing a show is. When you have stories like ReZero, even though it is popular and successful, it's not that wide appealing. It's hard to target so many different types of audiences, and that's very tricky to do, right? Most people, again, focus on one specific thing that they're really good at in order to target that audience, and they build off a business that way, and that's perfectly fine. It's valid. But sometimes there are these insane situations where you're able to just harness everybody. Every demographic can watch and enjoy. You're juggling so many different things at once, but somehow they synchronously just work in a very harmonious way. It's just the work of an artist that is just so elite that I cannot comprehend. Something happened in the Fujimoto household, man. Fujimoto being the author of Chainsaw Man, and obviously the author of Dandadan worked, as an apprentice for Fujimoto, but that's pretty much it. Enough glaze. Here's the link to Mr. Moist Critical penguinz0's channel. Here it is. Here's the link. I'll see you guys next time.